Hello, you're watching QPVN News. I'm Anh Tuấn, and here's the headlines. Vietnam, UN join hands to shape better future. Vietnam Navy makes strong impression at KAKADU 24. Promoting CHAM ethnic cultural identity in integration period. After 3 days of urgent work, with a high sense of responsibility, the 13th Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee concluded its 10th session in Hanoi on September the 20th. General Secretary and President Tô Lâm delivered the closing speech of the session. General Secretary and President Tô Lâm noted the party central committees agreed to successfully implement the resolution of the 13th Party Congress with the highest determination, greatest effort, drastic actions, striving to achieve and exceed the set goals. The entire political system is asked to strongly determine and adopt thorough measures to successfully carry out socio-economic development tasks for 2025, achieve the set targets, especially the one on GDP growth, and continue to create strong momentum for following years. It demanded applying priority solutions to secure high economic growth in tandem with protecting the environment, ensuring social security, and caring for people's life. Another request is to firmly ensure national defense and security, better external affairs, and promote Vietnam's stature and contributions to regional and global peace, stability, and development. Regarding the documents to be submitted to the 14th National Party Congress 2026-2031, the party's Central Committee identified 5 major groups of issues to continue perfecting the documents. The party-building measures in the new period include continuing to build and streamline the apparatus of the party, National Assembly, government, Vietnam Fatherland Front, and socio-economic organizations so that they operate efficiently and effectively. From September the 22nd to the 24th, General Secretary and President Tô Lâm will attend the UN Summit of the Future and the UN G8-79 and work with the US. This is the first working trip to the United States and participate in multilateral foreign affairs activities by General Secretary and President Tô Lâm in his new position. This is also the first time a General Secretary and President of Vietnam has directly attended high-level meetings at the United Nations General Assembly. The UN G8-79 will host a series of events with the focus being the Future Summit themed Multilateral Solutions for a Better Future, and the general debate themed Leaving No One Behind to promote the implementation of common goals. The Vietnamese high-ranking delegation led by General Secretary and President Tô Lâm attended the above events with the main message of strengthening multilateralism, working together to create a peaceful, stable, prosperous and sustainable future for all people.
Tại Liên Hợp Quốc thì Tổng Bí thư Chủ tịch nước Tô Lâm
General Secretary and President Tô Lâm will bring important messages strongly supporting multilateralism with the central role of the United Nations in peace, cooperation and development in the world. This is also an opportunity for Vietnam to once again affirm its foreign policy of independence, self-reliance, multilateralization, diversification of foreign relations, proactive and active international integration. Over the past half-century, the Vietnam and the UN ties have made remarkable progress in many aspects. From a country receiving aid, Vietnam has gradually become a reliable and effective partner of the UN, the 49th largest contributor to the UN budget, participating deeply and making meaningful contributions to all 3 main pillars.
Let's take, for example, peace. Very important. Vietnam sends peacekeepers to 3 places in the world where the UN has peacekeeping operations, one of which is South Sudan. I mentioned South Sudan specifically because I visited South Sudan, and while I was there, I had the opportunity and the pleasure of being received and entertained by the Vietnamese military group in South Sudan.
The top leaders' working visit to the U.S. coincides with the first anniversary of the two countries' comprehensive strategic partnership. It also comes as both sides actively prepare for the 30th anniversary of the establishment of their diplomatic relations in 2025. The visit presents an important opportunity for both nations to review the achievements brought by the new framework of relations and to discuss major directions and measures.
I think having the president come in here, solidify ties between the U.S. and Vietnam is going to be tremendous. I think this is where we have that comfort level where we feel good about doing business in Vietnam. That's a very big key, and having endorsements by our leadership with the UN and Vietnam and the president is going to be tremendous.
The two sides will continue to adhere to the foundation principles of their ties, including respect for the UN Charter, international law, and mutual respect for each other's political systems, independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. They will further consolidate their political trust and strategic confidence, meeting the aspirations of their people. The visit demonstrates Vietnam's highest-level commitment and will contribute to raising the relationship between Vietnam and the United Nations to a new height. On September the 20th, the Operations Department under the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army coordinated with relevant agencies and units to inspect the preparation for the upcoming dispatch of the Level 2 Field Hospital Rotation 6 and Military Engineering Company Rotation 3. Up to this point, all preparation for the dispatch have been done. The units continue to review tasks to ensure progress and time for the dispatch on September the 24th. As planned, members of the Level 2 Field Hospital Rotation 6 will depart for South Sudan from Nội Bài Airport by C-17 aircraft supported by Australia, while Engineering Company Rotation 3 will depart for Abia area by a UN-sponsored flight from Nội Bài Airport. On September the 19th, the exercise KAKADU 2024 in Australia successfully concluded after 10 days of both onshore and at-sea activities. Held biennially since 1993, this year's exercise featured participation from over 30 countries with modern ships and aircraft. For the first time, the Vietnam People's Navy had sent a ship to join this exercise. Ship 18 of Brigade 171, Naval Region 2, travelled over 5,000 nautical miles, crossing the equator to join the exercise. The Vietnam People's Navy successfully completed their voyage and non-combat training, showcasing their ability to operate in a multilateral environment. They coordinated well with other ships and collaborated with the Royal Australian Navy's experts on non-traditional maritime security. Before the sea phase, crew members attended onshore conferences to enhance their skills. The delegation also hosted a cultural reception and engaged in cultural and sporting events, promoting international friendship and solidarity. Coming up next, alcohol soldiers, mainstay of people. Promoting CHAM ethnic cultural identity in integration period. Right after the storm Sulik, taking advantage of the favorable weather, fishermen from the central coastal provinces quickly returned to production and continued sailing the sea. On September the 20th, at Port Quang Fishing Port in Da Nang, the atmosphere became lively again after several days of being impacted by the storm. At the moment, fishermen are preparing gear, refueling and loading ice for a quick departure. Based on their experience, the period following a storm is often more productive for fishing than usual. Logistics services and authorities are working at full capacity to support their return to sea. In the coming days, hundreds of docked boats are expected to set sail and resume offshore fishing. Standing side by side with the people in the most difficult times, more than anyone else, alcohol soldiers deeply understand the people's losses. So when the weather condition is still complicated and the people are still facing danger, The Uncle soldiers are always ready to be present, utilizing all resources to help people to soon overcome the pain and stabilize their lives.
After the terrible flash flood that occurred on September the 10th, a peaceful village was submerged in mud. As the people in Lang Nu village, Phúc Khánh commune, Bảo Yên district, Lào Cai province lived in loss and grief, military troops were immersed in thick layers of mud, digging up each tree root and each layer of soil to search for victims. We're very grateful to the kindness and wholehearted support of the soldiers. No word can express sincere thanks of villagers here to Uncle Ho's soldiers. Landslides, flash floods, and prolonged heavy rains damaged many houses, infrastructure, trees, and electric poles. Hundreds of people died, were injured, and went missing. A series of heartbreaking events occurred due to the impact of Typhoon Yagi in the northern provinces and cities in recent days. In those places which witnessed loss, hardships, and danger, there are soldiers who join hands to help the people overcome difficulties. The presence of soldiers makes us feel very secure. In our hearts, the image of soldiers is always shining. In difficulties and challenges, everyone needs a mainstay, and the military troops have been a solid fulcrum, together with the whole country, to help people affected by Typhoon Yagi to soon stabilize their lives.
The World Food India 2024 is taking place in India, attracting the participation of businesses from 90 countries, including Vietnam. This year, Vietnam is one of the two selected as focus country in the exhibition. This reflects India's acknowledgement of the bilateral comprehensive strategic partnership, affirms Vietnam's role in the global food supply chain. 20 Vietnamese firms introduced their agricultural products and processed food, including fresh and dry fruits, cashew nuts, coffee, tea, pepper, cinnamon, rice wine, and instant noodles. With the support of the Vietnam Trade Office in India, the Vietnamese business delegation will participate in trade activities, export promotion forums. Though unique, the culture of the CHAM people is still running the risk of falling into oblivion. So the CHAM Ethnic Cultural Festival, held every 5 years, is one of the practical activities in orienting the work of preserving the CHAM ethnic culture associated with tourism development, thereby improving the living standard of the community in the current context.
With the goal of preserving and promoting the CHAM ethnic cultural identity in the period of integration and national development, over the past time, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism has had very specific policies for provinces and cities, which are home to a large number of CHAM people. To preserve and promote CHAM people's cultural values, first of all, the activities must focus on raising awareness of the CHAM ethnic community, arousing their pride on their own heritage. One of the most important tasks is to change awareness of the CHAM ethnic people, making them more proactive and creative in traditional products such as pottery and brocade products. In recent years, we've witnessed great and effective efforts of CHAM people in preserving tangible and intangible culture. Especially, they've aroused the creativeness and self-preservation of indigenous cultural features. Implementing the policy of promoting ethnic cultural values, this year Ninh Thuận Province will host the CHAM Ethnic Cultural Festival from September the 27th to the 29th. With the participation of 9 provinces and cities from the south, central, and southern provinces, nearly 1,000 artisans and figurines from the CHAM ethnic group will promote the most unique heritage of the CHAM people.
This is the end of the QPVN News today. Remember to watch our news again at qpvn.vn. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.